I don't know if we were before them or after them though. Oh no, we were. Oh wait, they were the Dorito team. No, we came in after. If they hold here, then we came in after them.
Okay, bye.
Teammate, maybe? Right?
That's the teammate.
Take it. Where are they? I don't know. Right around. Look.
Knock the castle 50-50.
Where?
He jumped off. I'm getting joined.
Okay.
Oh, look, cracked. One HP Newcastle. Literally one heal. Go get. I'm looking down.
They're running.
Right,
I think they're running to
Kill?
space.
He's still here. He's still here.
Okay, this is not our team. We did end up taking this space though.
He helped me. Yeah, safe. Find this one. Behind anything. Right here.
You want me to UAV?
Can't hit him.
Not gonna lie, a little crazy on the util usage here. It's not bad to go for kills like this, but being this lenient, especially I don't remember if you picked up that many like ultic kills. Being this lenient this early on like your util usage can be fine if you get kills, but also if you end up dying because you need it, it also can be pretty bad. So especially it's like in Newcastle, like unless that wall gets EMP'd, Hal can't really do much here. I'm not a fan of your comp existing to do one very specific thing. I mean, it does a lot more than one specific thing, but the real strength of this comp is EMP into fuse, because it counters both Newcastle and Watson if you do it right.
I'm batting here. I have to bat here.
Yeah.
Can you spike me again?
No, I can't. Yeah. Wait, break the jump. No, it is. Can't see it.
Double me. It's one shot. Again.
Get it.
I'm in.
Yeah,
Battery, okay.
Is that yours? No.
I'm in.
Good. What the fuck was that?
Getting joined.
Very shifty rotate, but it worked.
Did you lose side?
Hal definitely blew his load prematurely.
They didn't look top. They're back top floor.
That dude saw feet out in the open.
This guy's like... He's also
There's a guy in cabin.
I don't know. From God Rock, maybe.
I'm gonna say first off, look, in finals lobbies generally, like you just want to get in as much as you can, and then you kind of play off opportunities around you once you're in a spot. I do want to say if they're gonna play this comp, I don't like this building. This kind of comp demands open area. Playing a building is just like you're inherently putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. It's not great. You're gonna put yourself in the, like, people are gonna EMP the shit out of you. I would much rather be them kind of like stay being the Dorito team here and work the area around them. Them playing in this small area, assuming they stay here,
I'm healing.
it's not good. This is not a good place for the team comp. Now if they're playing Newcastle, Watson, or Catalyst, a little bit different. But they're not.
Probably top.
Yeah, I'm gonna go top.
It doesn't do much to progress their game. All of their swings are like pretty much full body swings. They're open to getting a bunch of EMPs thrown at them. It's just there's a lot more negatives to this spot than positives. The one positive is they're closer to where the end zone is going to be. That's the one positive, and they can make like potential opportunities based off of that.
Yeah, coming up. I'm
Look at this. They're just going to bleed now.
Give me Phoenix.
I don't have. Getting joined. I can't.
I'm dead.
Yeah, they're just going to bleed.
Oh my god. We're fine, you know.
Yeah, we are.
We're about to
A little bit of like indecision there. Not indecision, but rather didn't sound very confident.
team next door. I knew we should have said main staging, but it was so Mirage.
You hear that though? Please tell me you heard that. I'll rewind it if you didn't. Listen to what Zero said.
We're about to team next door. I knew we should have said main staging.
I knew we should have stayed main staging. What did I say before we got to this point? I don't like where they're playing. I feel like they should have just played around like Dorito. Obviously he said that more because of where the zone flipped. It's not going towards Mirage like they had originally thought. But ultimately, I'll touch on it here a little bit again. But this is something that has been plaguing my team for a while, and I got them to stop fucking doing it, which is just bum rushing a spot just because it's open. Play to a spot that is open. Play to a spot that's good for your comp, like first and foremost. Because if you don't, your rotates are going to be fucking hard. Second, there's a lot of zone flips going on. A lot of zone flips are happening in this tournament, and I don't think it's smart to take a very complacent spot like this one this early on. I think you have to just, it's okay to play for the zone 3 or even maybe zone 4 flop and be on the outside, especially with a comp like this. With a comp like this, they can push teams around. They don't have to brute force a suboptimal spot like this one. Like I said, I think them calling to play here was actually led to their ultimate demise in this one. A little bit of Lex seemed like a little bit of confidence, like even though it was just game 1, seemed like they weren't very confident the way they called this game. It was when zone 3 flipped and it was here, and it was showing that it's not going to end here. Every player in this lobby knows it's not going to end on top of them. There's a small chance it could, but most of these flips usually, if it's flipping this hard, it's going to go over here somewhere. But you heard Zero go along lines of like, ask like, should we stay here? Which it's not a bad thing to ask your team, but generally this team usually is a little bit more confident in their calls.
Yep, they were getting fucked.
I'm good.
Anyways. Come on, man. Get to the meat and potatoes, man.
Want to talk about the performance at LAN? Of course. We're talking about the elephant in the room. You think I'm just going to ignore it? Not talk about it? I know people want to know, right?
Alright, Hal, we'll fucking stop teasing us, man. Get to it!
Talk about, really.
Upgrade time.
Like,
alright.
Obviously, like, my opinion would be way different than Zero's, but Zero might get mad with what I have to say, but I don't know.
Sounds like a conversation
like,
that should have happened.
I talked with Zero, but I don't know what it was, but like I like felt like there wasn't really we didn't have that confidence that we usually do. Like ever since.
Am I damn good at my job or what? Rewind that fucking VOD review to game 1. Am I fucking just the fucking best at what I do or what? I don't know. Sorry, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about me. Although, I'm not gonna lie, when I call something, when I like have my own thoughts of like what happens in games, and then I see it like instantly rewarded that like, yeah, that was the problem. I'm sorry. It does feel a little good, okay? It feels a little good. Anyways, so sorry, so sad though for Falcons, obviously.
Since the very first day of the LAN, I don't know why. I don't know if it was just because we were getting railed in TDMs against Alliance. Like we were TDMing against Alliance. Like we were TDMing against Alliance after like or before every LAN day or whatever, and we would lose every single time, which wasn't a big deal because that was the same story before EWC, and we f***ed everyone anyways. So, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I mean, he obviously already said that it's not like that big of a deal because they were TDM anyway. But I do like, I mean, for any aspiring players or any maybe even pro league players watching this, I do think it's a little silly how much teams attach themselves to TDMs. Obviously, Hal said there like it's probably not the problem, but there are. Look, my team doesn't TDM very often, but I do know that you know I listen to the way other people talk about teams that they TDM as well. Like I've heard a lot of teams be like, "Oh yeah, they're shit. We've been stomping on them in TDMs," and it's just like people attach themselves way too much to TDMs. They're supposed to be used as warm up and practice, and that's it. But people like they attach their egos to it, way too much. And I'm sure that's not like the inherent. I'm sure that's not like the big problem for why they felt unconfident. If I had to guess, I think the meta just doesn't really necessarily suit them, and like it was hard for them to find their footing within it. The only reason I'm saying that is one, Falcons are a much more aggressive team, and this meta is not so much that. I think there's room for it to be aggressive, but you have to be confident within your own gameplay to get to that point. So I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot there. I think their comp that they played was fine, but they weren't aggressive with it because they just lacked that confidence. So they weren't aggressive in the right ways when they needed to be. The other part I wanted to kind of like bring up as well is it felt like they weren't ready for just kind of like anything to be thrown at them. Their macro calling was very, like, again, very shoddy if you watched my VOD review on them. And what I mean by that is they didn't play their comp right, first and foremost, but two, I know they were complaining about zone flips a lot at LAN. And that's weird to me, because if you're complaining about zone flips happening frequently, then it's weird to me that you don't start playing for the zone flips. Like that's something when that happens to my team, I always adjust our gameplay accordingly to make sure that if zone flips are going to be happening a lot, even in our small little like population size, sample size, whatever of games, then I make sure that we're playing for it, right? There are ways to play around it. You can play slow, play for information. There are 100% ways to play for it. And I heard a couple tidbits of Zero wanting to play for that and make those calls, but he just didn't in a lot of the early games in their games. And I think when that obviously fails and you second guess yourself and you probably think to yourself, I should have done that anyways, it definitely adds up and doesn't help at all. The negative emotions definitely compound a lot in that regard. So I think they weren't ready for the meta. Not necessarily from like a team comp standpoint, because I actually like their team comp. I think they could have done a lot of work with it. I just think they called it from a macro standpoint really, really poorly. Confidence issue again.
It's just like, oh, like we didn't, like ever since that first day, something was just off. Like there was no, like the confidence was not there. I don't know why.
Called it again.
Like
not about me.
Zero would probably can elaborate on that, but it's funny too. Like before finals, we TDM Alliance and slammed the fuck out of them, like 40-20. And I was like, damn, we're about to fuck today. Actually, like slam the shit out of them. But yeah, I don't know. Like literally, the best way to describe it, like long story short, there was a lack of confidence and combination of bad games. It turned into like a mental spiral of
yeah, been there. Trust
doom.
me, it's bad.
Like just that's it. Literally, just the confidence issue, and it was a thing since the LAN started, and like you could.
Reckon I ought to grab an upgrade.
In that entire thing, you can like just ask Zero whenever he streams or whatever, like in regards to that.
Okay. Pretty much, again, kind of called that as well. Mostly it was just really evident to me because we shared a booth right next to them, and it was just doom and gloom throughout from game 1 to 10. And to that, like, and that feeling sucks. As I mentioned thoroughly in my VOD review, that's happened to my team a lot. Our last 3 LAN and or not making to LAN performances, it's happened a ton, and we've like learned and grown from it. It is possible to get out of those situations. It's really hard. Everybody needs to be on the same page. Everybody needs to be fighting for it. Support staff needs to be yelling at you. Like, it's an uncomfortable situation to be in, and it's an uncomfortable way. It's uncomfortable to get out of it. Trust me, because with like more regards to my team, it like relies on me yelling at them, which is something I don't like to do. I'm not a yeller. I don't like to get like too. I like to tell the team how to play the game and make those all funny strategery decisions. That's kind of more my speed, but I'm not a yeller. But I've learned in this profession, I guess, if you want to even call it that, that you have to. If I'm at LAN, whether I'm playing, whether I'm coaching, I will do whatever it is in my power to make sure my team is giving it their all, or at least fucking trying to and fighting their way out. Again, something I learned the hard way. We've had to have several LANs of failure to learn that, but I hope that Falcons learn that same lesson and that they don't just throw away this last LAN as just a complete failure. Obviously, like from a results standpoint, it definitely was, but there is a lot of character and like player growth that they can gain from this if they approach it from the right lens.